Good evening. Thank you for joining me. 90 Day Fiance the other way. Let's judge together. Looking forward to it tonight, as always. All right. This is season 2, episode 8, Rude Awakening, which is a title that can be used on many levels in this show. This particular episode is not really anything earth-shattering, but it gives a lot more insight into people's characters, into what's going on. So I thought it was kind of an important episode. Having said that, we're going to jump right in with the most ridiculous and, to me, exhausting and frustrating part of the show, which is Brittany of the show, which is Brittany and Yazan. Okay. First of all, we know why Brittany is doing this. Brittany is doing this for Insta fame. She's doing this for followers. She's doing this for her career. She wants to be a hip hop artist. So do all my cats. This one here, he's got sick beats. He's laying down sick beats. I mean, everyone in my building, everyone in my family, all of our animals, even our rabbit, all hip hop artists. It's just, I mean, everyone is. Anyone can be a hip hop artist. You know, it's so easy. And of course, it's super easy to get famous at it. So definitely, yeah, she's going to be huge. Move over Nicki Minaj. She's going to take over. Anyway, so Brittany is in this for clout. Same as so many people in the history of this show. Yazan is in this for, I think, a little fun. I think a little clout. I think that he can enjoy, being with this beautiful, voluptuous American woman and looking like the man. But fundamentally, when it comes down to it, Yazan is going to probably marry a cousin or a second cousin. He is not going to marry Brittany. And Brittany never had one scintilla of a desire to actually marry Yazan and live in Jordan. I think it was like a crush. I think that they think that they're cute, but this is really one of the fakest relationships. Not as fake as Erica and Stephanie. Not as fake as Erica and Stephanie, because it would be hard to find a faker couple than that in all of 90 days. We'll see if they can surpass that. But this one's not far behind. So let me tell you why Yazan is going to marry a cousin or a second cousin, probably, or at least someone certainly known to his family and close to his family. Number one, because he is a good son. And if you go against your religious Muslim parents, you are cast out of the family. Let me say that again. You are cast out of the family. Bye-bye. Now, here in America, we almost look at that as something romantic. Like, yeah, I was the black sheep of the family, so they cast me out. But that's okay. I went to LA and became a hip hop star because it's so easy. Ask Genzo back there. He's with his sick beats. He's got like albums and albums and albums. I mean, he's amazing. Check out his TikToks. I mean, he's amazing. The guy can move. It's incredible. So he is going to marry someone close to the family because being cut out of your family in that culture is like being dead. It's like being dead. It's something unimaginable. Same in India. That's why we have these problems there. That culture is not conducive to someone saying, no, I'm not, it's cool. I don't get along with my mom and dad. No. This is not possible. This is like cutting off your hand. It's something that only happens, it's some kind of great tragedy, or someone occasionally does decide, okay, I'm going to move to London and become crazy and become a club kid. I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm saying it's super, super rare. And the reason why he's probably going to marry his cousin is because his parents they don't look like they come from money. They don't look like they were, in the royal family in Jordan, living in Amman since the foundation of the independence of the country. I'm sure that they were probably Bedouin. They were probably Bedouin herders, or maybe they lived in a town. Maybe they always did meat and fish and things like that. But the fact is, all countries that have some Bedouin population, especially this type of Bedouin population. I'm not talking about Morocco. I'm not talking about the Berbers. As you go across North Africa, it becomes less and less and less. But in Egypt and sort of the central part of the Middle East that we think of, this is very, 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 very prevalent in Syria, in Jordan, in countries like that. And what happens is your father's brother has a little girl, and the little girl is reserved, that's the word they use, for, you know, the little girl's father's brother's son. That's how it happens. That's considered correct and proper. So basically, you know who you're going to marry. You know who you're going to marry from as long as you can remember. They're like, oh, you're promised to your, to your cousin Saida or whatever. If it's not a first cousin, it's sometimes a second cousin, but it's someone with a family connection. That's considered very strong. It is not considered weird. It is not considered incestuous. It is not, I'm not like a big fan of this and saying, hey, let's all go marry our cousins. No, there's a reason why it's against the law. It can occasionally cause problems in families that practice it too stringently, that you basically have one group of families only marrying into each other. That's when you have like the royal families of Britain and Russia, where you have hemophilia and porphyria and all these diseases. That's because everybody in every generation is marrying a first cousin, and there's too much of it. And after, a few hundred years of cousins marrying cousins, and it's only like, 5 main royal houses of Europe, you start to have a problem. That's why they have to look at like smaller kingdoms, and you find like, the Queen of England becomes some princess from a minor German state because they need fresh blood. Nonetheless, it is not considered gross or weird or creepy or hillbilly-like in a lot of cultures, especially a lot of cultures that were originally nomadic. It's in a way, it's like who can you trust, and you trust your family. So I guarantee you, he is promised. He has a wife that is promised, that he's been promised to. He's not going to marry Brittany. He never thought he was going to marry Brittany. So don't worry about either one of them disappointing each other, okay? It's not going to happen, okay? But I started to say that along these lines, for insights into Muslim culture, there is a great young recapper, a very young man from Morocco, and his name is Zain. His YouTube channel is zaindaily, Zaindaily. No, sorry. His name is zaindaily, Zaindaily. And he is doing recaps of the 90 Day shows, specifically that feature Muslim characters or people in the couples. And he breaks them down in a fascinating way. You will get so many insights into these couples. He's cute. He has a sense of humor. I mean, he's very good, and he's a new content creator. So show him some love. Go to zaindaily on YouTube and tell him 90 Days Fiance, let's judge. Me sent him. And while we're on that subject, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. Please, let's get a dialogue going. I would love to have some comments so we can talk about these people. It's quite a season. So I would much appreciate it if you would join my little pod of subscribers that's just beginning to grow. Anyway, so zaindaily talks about, this is another season, talks about Nicole and Yazan. He has a lot to say about Nicole and Yazan. And he shows the video that I'd heard about, but I hadn't seen it. He shows it on his YouTube, that Nicole looks like she's hiding under a blanket with a flashlight in her bedroom in Florida. But she's supposedly in Morocco because of COVID. I don't think she's in Morocco. There's just, the whole thing I think is made up. She's desperate to hang on to some, little bit of fame, and she feels it slipping away fast. So she says on the video, Of course Yazan isn't going to marry his cousin. That's not even a thing. That's not even possible. And I believe Zain says, no, that is, something that does happen. And he's Moroccan. it is not as common in Morocco, but it definitely happens. There's definitely a percentage of the population that also practices cousin marriage. So, sorry to bring up Nicole and Yazan. I'm sorry. I know you'd probably just gotten to the point of being able to forget about them, but now you can forget about them. Okay. So we get into the end of that horrible evening at Yazan's parents' house, which clearly a big part of it has been edited out because it goes from kind of okay, it goes from like, 0 to 11 on the dial very, very quickly, too quickly. And Yazan is doing a terrible job translating, or he's saying completely the wrong things. He's basically, his parents are asking, is she converting to Islam? Is she studying to become a Muslim? And, he's like, no. He asks her, she says no. And then he just directly translates his parents, no, like she's not really interested. So she, it's a disaster. So we open with the end of this mess, and she's fake crying. She fake cries constantly. I have my thing about fake crying. She's not good at it. She fake cries constantly. So anyway, they leave the parents' house. Everything is, left in a horrible way, and it's a big disaster. And they get in the car, and then she starts trying to have a dramatic freak out where she's crying, then she's sobbing, then she's screaming like a baby, and it's just none of it rings true. None of it. It's all, I know acting, and that is acting, and it's bad acting. It's not even good acting. So yeah, don't be worrying about how upset she is, because that's all BS. She knows what she's doing. She knows why she's doing this, and she doesn't care about Yazan's parents. She doesn't give a damn about Yazan's parents. She barely gives a damn about him. So anyway, he takes her to the little apartment that he's rented for her, and oddly he puts rose petals that lead to the bed. But no, he can't stay because he's such a devout Muslim. So supposedly, he leaves. I wonder, but yeah, I guess he leaves her. So it's just, let me just fast forward to the end of it. Fake, stupid. Okay, now we're on to the next couple. All right. Kenny and Armando, I haven't really had that much of a chance to talk about them. I just wanted to go back to the scene because I'm a little bit backwards in how I'm presenting these videos time-wise. Like this one is going to come out before one that's actually from like 10 days ago. When he comes out to his parents, oh my God, that was really something. His mother was, she was going to accept it. It was going to be hard for her, but she was going to accept it. And she was like, I love you. And she was very sweet to him. And even the father was like, you're my son. How could you think I would hate you? How could you think I wouldn't love you? The father said that. And that is very promising. Is he going to suddenly be like, hey, you guys, come on and stay over at the house. Let's have a pool party? No, he's not ready. He's going to have to ease into this very, very gently. It's very, very hard for him. Mexico is a very macho culture, and being openly gay is hard. And this father, I'm sure, feels with all those old-fashioned feelings of like, oh no, I failed as a parent, blah, 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 not realizing that he has an amazing son. There's nothing wrong with his son. His son is great. Armando's awesome. He just seems like such a lovely person. I hope I'm not proven wrong, because sometimes early on I love someone and then they turn out to be horrible. Asuelo, talking to you. I stood up for you. I stuck up for you, Asuelo. Look, that's the way you repaid me. So, but I thought that whole scene was just so real. And once again, can we have more real? Can we please have more real? Because we're not as stupid as you think. We don't just want, maybe, there's a reason why there's no Jerry Springer type shows on TV. You can say, oh, it's because they have these, cheesy reality shows that are just as violent and just as weird. Yeah, I guess, but I don't think that 90 Day Fiance's original mission was to become Jerry Springer. I think they found that it helps the ratings, so they've kind of gone to that side. They've gone over to the dark side, but anyway. it's very sweet because Kenneth and Armando are reunited in their new home, which is 4 hours away from San Felipe, which is the town where Armando lived, I think, all his life. And Kenneth comes, and Armando's in this lovely condo that they're renting. I think it looks really nice. They're talking about they're not sure if they have hot water yet, and there are a couple of problems, but it looks like a really nice condo, and it has a view of the ocean, and it looks very pleasant. It looks like a very pleasant little town, a very friendly little town, little coastal town. So yeah, I think that was probably a good choice for them. Why, you don't need to live in the same town with your family at this point. You don't need to have everything in their face. Just, it's not America. It's not America, And in most cases, I'd be like, you just show who you are, and you just, this is who you are, and you never ever hide that. But in some cultures, you do need to move a little bit more slowly. And the important thing is Armando is living his best life. He is choosing to be who he is. And he is going to live openly with Kenneth and Hannah, his adorable little girl, who's so excited about having two daddies. I love that. That makes my heart sing. That little girl is so adorable. And yeah, just her saying, I'm so excited to have two dads. Oh, that's really lovely. This is real love. By the way, P.S., real love. I'm not saying things are going to be perfect between them. I think that, that Kenneth is a little OCD. I think that he's always going to be the one who's a little bit, and I think Armando is more of a go with the flow kind of guy. But you know what? Somehow I think the two of them will definitely work out. I just, love them. I want them to adopt another baby, and I love them. Love them, love them. Okay. Now, when Armando left before Kenneth got there, his father did not come out to say goodbye to him, which hurt, but his mother did. She was out hugging him, wishing him well. Now they're going to come back in a week. Kenneth and Armando are going to come back in a week to San Felipe to pick up Hannah and to say hi to the family. So it will be very telling if the father comes out then to meet Kenneth. But you know what? Even if the father does not come out then, that doesn't mean that this is a lost cause. People have to be won over very slowly, and this is not a culture that is impermeable, that is impassable, that their refusal to accept people being gay is at such a level that there's just no way the father would ever come to really accept Kenneth. I think he will, but it's going to take time. The fact that he opened up as much as he did when Armando came out and said, look, I'm moving with my boyfriend 4 hours away, I have hope. I definitely have hope that this will work out and this will be a big, happy whole family again. Okay. And I can't wait I think they're both going to do such a great job with Hannah. He's already done such a great job with her. She seems awesome. So I'm excited about that. All right. Tim and Melyza. He's moving to Colombia, as you recall. She is from Medellin. She was going to come to America for 6 months, or she did come back, or she came back on a visit, and during that time she found out that he had cheated on her when she was away. So that kind of screwed everything. I think that the idea was that she was going to come to America, but then she was like, nope, no, I don't accept that. I don't accept cheating. Bye, sorry. She goes back to Medellin, and he has to woo her back. And one of the ways he really has to woo her back is by saying, look, I'm going to leave everything, and I'm going to move to your town to be with you because I love you and I want to spend my life with you, and because you're the hottest thing I've ever seen. Let's not pretend Melyza isn't quite lovely. She definitely, she's lovely. Okay. They're constantly mentioning the cheating, both of them. We start to hear Melyza and we meet her family and everything. And the subject of him cheating, I believe it happened once, I think, or anyway, it's over. So if they're going to do nothing but constantly bring up the cheating, and every episode is going to be, but you cheated, but you cheated, but you cheated. Here's how I feel about that. I think that if you think once a cheater, always a cheater, I think you should stick to your guns and say, if you believe once a cheater, always a cheater. I'm not saying yes or no. I'm saying if you believe that, don't be with a cheater. Tell him, no, I can't be with you. You cheated on me and I don't trust you and I'll never trust you. But this whole thing about, oh, can I forgive him? Should I forgive him? How can I forgive him? Blah, blah, blah. That's going to get real boring real fast. So they better have some other plot lines going than, I need to win her back because I made a mistake. I was really stupid. That's going to get so old. So I'm hoping something will happen. Melyza is 29. She works in marketing. She's very hardworking. She lives with her mom and dad. Her dad does not know that Tim cheated. Her mother does know. So the dad's like, yay, Tim is coming. And the mom's like, Tim is coming. She's already got it out. She's gunning for Tim. She's going to look up for him to make any mistake because she is what mother would be to learn, her daughter's significant other has cheated on her. It's really hard to come back from that. You can't. I mean, don't ever tell your mother something bad about your husband. I'm saying this from experience because you know what? They'll never get over it. You'll get over it and you and your husband will be moving on and having a great time. And your mother will still be, I remember that time he ... So, okay. She says she is reserved, which I can see. She has a kind of a serious demeanor, and she said she's reserved, which she said people mistake for being bitchy. I totally understand. I have a girlfriend like that. She's the warmest person in the world, actually. She has such a good heart, but she comes off as a little bit cold, and so some people think she's not, affectionate, but she doesn't open up to people right away. So... Anyway, so we all know that she was an au pair. She met Tim when she was working as an au pair and went to a bar, and she was the hottest girl in the bar, and everyone wanted her to buy her a drink. And Tim went in from he was at University of Iowa, and he went in, he bought her a drink and won her over, and they had their relationship. And then, of course, after all this going really smoothly, and it was true love, and it was great, he cheated on her. So that is the bump in the road. Okay, speaking of bumps in the road, let's go to India because they have huge bumps in the road there. Not as big as Africa. They had potholes in Lusaka in Zambia when I lived there. They were like big enough to swallow a mini, like a small car. They had the biggest potholes I'd ever seen. But India has some good ones. Very impressive potholes in India too. All right, Jenny and Sumit, they go to the lawyer. The lawyer confirms, yes, we're going through all of this. Divorce, and he says divorce in India can take, he says 2 and 5 years, which does not mean, he means 2 to 5, because the prepositions are used differently in Hindi. I understand why he made that mistake because I'm studying Hindi, so I totally understand how he made that mistake. But anyway, you have to always be careful with Indian people speaking English because their prepositions sometimes will get mixed up. But anyway, he says, that it could be 2 to 5 years or longer for a divorce. And that's absolutely true. Like I said, I've have a girlfriend who's going through an impossible divorce. It's actually coming to a close now, but it's been a long time. It has been a very long time. And it's true, they don't just have here, anytime you're in any kind of legal proceedings, you get a copy of every document, or you can go online and open up the docket and pull up all your documents. You can go to, divorce court or whatever kind of court, and you can pull up records and look at the information. That's, public access. It is not that way in India. Divorces are considered very private, and they don't just hand out copies of things. So this is not a lie. Everyone thinks, oh, well, he doesn't have a file with all these papers in it, so he must be lying. It doesn't exactly work that way. I'm not saying he couldn't be lying, but I don't think at this point he is. I'm pretty sure he is in the middle of divorce. He's struggling to pay the family back for the money they shelled out for the shadi, for the wedding. But I do think that, and then of course there's always getting by his parents are going to feel like their son is dead if he marries this woman. Which gets into that whole thing again about, but being cut off from your family, especially being cut off from your parents religiously, culturally, in every sense of the way, is just, it's like being dead. It's bad. It's not really like being dead, but it might feel like being dead. This is not something that happens and people are just like, okay, well, I'm out on my own. I'm going to make it on my own. It's not like that. Okay. Okay, so then the attorney says, oh, but after saying this horrible thing to poor Jenny, he says, oh, but actually that's when partners don't agree to a divorce. And which is true, because that can take on, it can go on forever. If one of the parties, like let's say the wife decides, no, I'm not going to let my husband leave me, I don't want him to go, I refuse to break up the marriage, then a wife could actually prevent her husband from getting divorced. She could stall it. It could take 10 years. I know another case like that. I have another friend who's still going through one of those. But this is a little different because the family is very wealthy. It has to do with custody of the son. It's very complicated, but 10 years. I'm not kidding. Okay. The only thing is, once all the divorce is final, they have to send the papers to the families, to both families, and the families have to basically agree. So that means that the final step is that paperwork would be sent to Sumit's family and to his hopefully soon to be ex-wife's family, and they would have to say, okay, yes, we're okay with this, and then they can get a final divorce decree, which would be an actual piece of paper at that point. So, after telling her, oh, it could be 2 to 5 years or more, he then says, but I think we're looking at about 5 months. So, dude, he didn't have to do that. They were just trying to be dramatic. So then they could use that in the clip, before they go to commercial, when they're like, they show the lawyer saying it could take 5 years or more. It makes a good clip between the commercials. Oh God, Devin and Jihoon. Okay, the only good thing about this episode with Devin and Jihoon is we did not have to see Alicia. That mother is just, she's painful. Oh, she's painful. She may not have a Karen haircut, but oh my God, she's all kinds of Karen. Okay, so Jihoon tells his mom that Devin and Alicia moved out of the house to the hotel. Jihoon tells his mother that, he lied to her about the money, that he also spent some of the money that he had saved on drinking and going out with his friends. So it was even worse than we thought. And, the mother, who's that little Korean Spitfire, is like, what's wrong with you? Why are you acting like you're not a baby? When are you going to become a man? When are you going to grow up and handle things the right way? And the way that he talks about things when it's very difficult, because yes, I know you're deeply ashamed as a Korean man. You have shamed your family. You have shamed yourself. So he's got that like, oh, I'm terrible. I'm terrible. Well, I'm sick of hearing you say, I'm terrible. I'm terrible. I feel so bad. I feel so bad. I feel so bad. Change your life. Do something. He's very annoying and very whiny. But again, even though his parents seem lovely, they spoiled the crap out of him for him to get that way. He's very, very immature. He's complaining that Devin thinks that he's a loser. Do something. Do something to change your mind. I think you're a loser and I don't even know you. Your parents kind of think you're a loser. They love you, but they think you're a loser. So do something. All right. He starts crying, and his mom says Korean men should not cry, which is, I think he's well past any of that. And then she also says, Korean people, we persevere. Instead of just whining and lamenting, we persevere, we push through. That's true. Koreans have had to be tough. South Koreans have had to be very tough. And, he just needs to either find the backbone, find a way to grow up fast, or he's lost his wife and baby. They're going right back to Utah, and you maybe see them every 2 years, and then what are you going to do? Be a delivery driver and blow money on drinks with your friends for the rest of your life? I mean, come on. Come on, Jihoon, at least join a boy band. You're cute enough, but I guess he's not. Those boy band guys are 17, aren't they? I don't know. Anyway, join a K-pop band. Come on. All right. Okay, now we see an interesting scene. I actually like this scene. It was quite funny. Armando and Kenny, who are like Lucy and Ethel, they go out on the streets of the little town where they've moved. This is kind of the first time for both of them exploring. It's very small. It doesn't have a bank. The nearest bank is a half hour away. But we find out that Kenneth is a germaphobe and definitely OCD, and he's a worrier, and he's uncomfortable. And he's been to Mexico before to see Armando, but then I guess he was just a tourist and Armando was taking care of everything. So now that he's realizing he lives there, things are like strange, and he doesn't things are strange. He doesn't quite know what to do, and he feels very out of place, which is normal. You just moved to a foreign country. It doesn't matter if Mexico's next door. It's a foreign country with a different culture, different language, different everything. Okay, so they go into a little tienda, a little store, and it's kind of like one of those all-in-one places, like a bodega where they have everything that you might possibly need. And he's acting like he's completely flummoxed by the idea of there being different currencies. You know, like he buys a bottle of water and she asks for 15 pesos, and he's like, what? And I guess this place is touristy enough that they take dollars too. So he gives her $1 and she gives him back 3 pesos. And he's sitting there like, okay, so 18 minus 5. He just seems confused. He's a smart guy, so I don't really understand this. I really don't understand. It's not that hard. An exchange rate, you know, it is 75 Indian rupees to the dollar. It's, you know what the exchange rate is, and then you multiply in your head, or you make it an easy figure. Like if it's if it's 70, well, no, 75 actually isn't too bad. But what I usually do when it was like 72, I would think, okay, it's 70. Or if it was 78, I'll think 80. I'll round up or down. But he acts like he's never done this before, which is interesting. Okay, now they're going to this little restaurant when they're making homemade tortillas. The ladies are making homemade tortillas, which makes me really want to have Baja California style fish tacos, the real ones, not the fast food ones, the real ones. Oh, I want that. I'm hungry for that now. All right. Oh God, I love it when he goes. They come to the little rinconcita, the little corner restaurant, and he says, Kenneth says, "What kind of food do they serve here?" And inside the kind of door of the rinconcito is this Mexican guy, this older Mexican guy who speaks perfect English. And he goes, "What kind of food do you think they have?" It's Mexican food. So that was kind of cute. He hated everything they gave him. He didn't like any of the food. He thought it was greasy. He didn't like it. We're going to have a little bit of a problem there. I think they're going to need to make a lot of grilled cheese sandwiches and fried chicken. I don't know. Because I don't think there's any fast food in this town. But he'll find a way. Okay, now we're back to Brittany and Yazan. Okay, Brittany and Yazan are continuing. They're in the car. There's more tears. There's more ranting. There's no actual liquid tears coming out of her eyes. She's a terrible actress. You get the idea. I just want to say, go home. Go home now. You do not belong there. You are doing a disservice to this country by being there. Please leave at once. Okay, so he brings her to this apartment that he's rented for her, and apparently the family has a little more money than I even thought, because he rented a really nice apartment. This is a nice apartment. And not just by Jordanian standards, by any standards. It's a very nice apartment. And he puts a path of rose petals leading to the bed. So I think that she gets it in her mind, oh, maybe we're going to get to do it real quick before he goes home to mom and dad. But no, I'm sure his parents are counting the minutes, and they're worried about exactly that. So he will be going straight home. He will not be staying there, even though he put down the rose petals, which, I guess was pretty. I don't know. But you still get the idea that Brittany thinks that, she says, well, he just has to learn to stand up to his parents. Oh my God. It's like talking to a wall. This is never going to happen. It's impossible. It's not going to happen. Okay? His parents are never going to accept you. You don't want them to, because you don't want to live in Jordan. You don't want to marry Yazan. So just, again, you go home, please. I'll have to keep covering it because, we have to keep covering it. And something interesting could happen. I don't know what. Jenny and Sumit. Back to Jenny and Sumit. Okay. They still don't have hot water. Again, can be a common problem to get things hooked up and running. Not at all a problem if it's summer, but it actually gets cold in Delhi in the winter, like coat cold. So depending on what time of the year it is, unheated water is not a good thing. All right, so Sumit's friends are coming to meet them, and they're supposed to be bringing their wives. And these, I believe, are two friends that I haven't seen them recently. I don't think they're the two friends that he was with last time. They seem to be another pair, but they're kind of bougie. They speak English perfectly. They're, they look upscale. I think Sumit and his friends and the circle that he was born into and raised in was definitely upper middle class, definitely. So they get there, and the one friend says, "Oh, my wife said she didn't want to come because she doesn't approve of this relationship. She doesn't approve of Sumit going against his parents' wishes and marrying an American, a non-Hindu, an American, and a woman who's much older." And the other one tries to tell a polite lie and say, "Oh, my wife got sick at the last minute." But Jenny's like, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure both of them didn't want to meet me, but okay, that's all right. I'm used to that now." We get the same reaction from almost everybody. Okay, and the friends do remind her, you may be separating Sumit from his family forever. Just like, do you want to be responsible for that? Because I think that's the only way this is going to happen. I talked to you already about how important the eldest son is in Indian culture, and you can't do that. You can't just say, "Bye, Mom, bye, Dad, see ya." No, it's not going to happen. So that's where we leave off. And next I'm going to do the latest Happily Ever After. So look for that. They should both be out tomorrow. And then I'm actually going to go back and do the previous week's 2 episodes of The Other Way and Happily Ever After. Thank you so much for joining. Please remember to like and subscribe. Comment, give me some feedback, and also let's judge together. I need you for this. So thank you, and as always, cheers. Have a great evening. Bye.